Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We have a guest that really needs no introduction, but because it's part of the job, I'm going to give her a small one anyway. Best-selling author Iris Bolling is back with us. She's not only one of my favorite authors, but also someone I'm very glad to call a friend. She's celebrating a very special project right now, which is the Lassiter Wedding series here on Amazon Live. You guys can be able to get it for yourselves on Amazon as we're having the conversation today. Also, you can be able to get the individual books as well. But why stop there? Go ahead and get the entire set. And Iris also has something special to tell you guys about that's coming here to Amazon as well. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. Iris, my friend, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. I love talking with you.
Well, look, we were just talking before the show and the show before the show and saying we're going to have you back a lot more because there's so much to talk about. We're going to get into the Lassiter family in this new series here, Iris, but I want to talk about this experience. I am someone who now I'm learning more and more to really be able to appreciate the moment. It's not easy for me to do. And I know you and I have talked about this before, but you were just talking to me about, we're talking about 40 plus books for you. What has this experience been like for you to tell stories, but also to entertain readers the way you've been able to do?
I would be honest with you. Sometimes you just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking and keep walking. And all of a sudden, boom, the things that you said that you wanted, it appears right in front of you. Yeah. We all know what we're 15 years in. This is 15 years in, so it did not happen overnight. Yeah. But I will tell you this, every step of the way, I learned something more. And I learned something to help me get to the next step and the next step and the next step. So the wonderful part about it is I like it when people say, oh, you're an overnight success. My overnight was 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if success is the word for me, but I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm blessed because like you said, we're 40 plus books in now. And I didn't think I was going to make it through 1 and 2.
Really? Wait a minute. I don't think I knew that. So, no. I mean, so when did you know then that you had something there? I think for me, I think I was 5 years into the radio show, Iris, when I realized, wait, people are still listening. People are still fighting me.
Still reading. Yes.
Yeah, that kind of thing. When did you know for yourself in your journey that, you know what, I have something here?
It was not until after I did the first season of the Hot TV series.
Are you serious?
It was not until then. And I noticed how many people would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the show with us, because that's what time it came on in the morning.
Right.
And they would get up and they would join us where we chat back and forth while the show was playing. And that's when I realized people really love these characters. They really love the story. They are really, and they are connected. They felt like they were a part of these characters that I created. And that is when I said, okay, I'm going to retire in another year or two because I definitely could not do both.
Yeah.
But it was not until after the Heart series, the first season of the Heart series was when I said, okay, I have something here. And I believe in a little bit more in myself because at first, it was on shaky grounds. I loved doing it. I loved telling the stories. I loved writing the stories, but wasn't so sure it was something that I was going to be able to sustain. But now 15 years later, and as a matter of fact, next month is my 15-year anniversary.
Amazing. Josie says hello on the Amazon Live site. Josie, hello to you. Glad you could join us. Bookworm75 is also saying hello on the Amazon Live side. She says, hey, Iris and Cyrus, thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you guys are new to us here, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll notice it either here in this corner or down below. Also, the books that we're talking about, which are the Lassiter Wedding series. Yes. You have to see I have mine on my Kindle there. I'm going to be blowing them up as we're going throughout our show here. You guys can be able to get them in the carousel as well. And I added some of my favorites in there as well. We have the Heart series. We have some of those in there. The Pendleton Rule is also in the carousel there. sibs, which we've talked about here on Amazon before.
Yes.
We put it in the here. We're like, you know what? We can't leave out other books too.
I
So
know. We love that whole series. Hey, Maxwell.
yeah, good to be
Oh,
able to see him as well.
Maxwell, it's
So
been, oh gosh,
yeah,
it's been a minute.
yeah. So I want to talk about that part. And Maxwell can definitely relate to this as well. You have been able to give us so many different families and situations around the way. Talk to us about the Lassiters, though, Iris. How did the idea for the Lassiters come about?
Well, the Lasters actually came from the Heart series. They were a stem of the Heart series because one of the Lassiter's characters, one of the Lassiter brothers, is actually a character in the Heart series as well. And it was they felt the readers felt in love with Samuel Lassiter in the third book of the Heart series.
Mm.
And they were so engrossed by this family of 12 brothers. And it was 12 children, 6 brothers, 6 sisters. And they got so attached to that character that I said, okay. They were asking questions about the brothers and the sisters. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to tell their story as well. And it turned out that was 11 books, because there's 12 of them. So it was 11 books. And even with that, Cyrus, when the Lassiters was coming to an end, people were writing me and they were saying, no, this is family. Family don't come to an end. I have to have more. So that's when I decided to do the wedding series because they had found love. Let me back up. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And happy Valentine's Day to you, Cyrus. And I say that because that's what the Lassiters are about. Mm-hmm. The Lassiters are about love.
Yeah.
Period. It's about family love. It's about family bonding. And it's about love because none of these children or siblings would settle for anything less than the same kind of love that they saw their parents have. And that's the whole thing about the Lassiters. And that's why I think people really related to them because they just did not settle. They wanted that kind of love that they knew that it was going to be one time and one time only, and it was going to last for a lifetime. And that's what they went for. Some of them had to kill 1 or 2 people to get to that love.
Look, I was going to say there's more than some love in these books.
Yes. That is true.
It would not be an Iris Bolling book without something else other than love.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm going to bring you some drama. I'm going to bring you some suspense, but I'm going to bring you some serious love too.
Yeah. And you are. I want to take a moment here, Iris, excuse me, while I just welcome. I see a lot of people speaking. I want to make sure I recognize you. Antoinette Gates, hello to you. Good to be able to see you on the Facebook side. On the Amazon Live side, C. Brooks, thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. If you guys are new to us here on the Amazon Live side, hit that follow button so you can stay connected with us here, especially for our new daily show here on Amazon Live at home with Cyrus Webb. Also, we have Midnight Ace Book Bar says hello to you, Iris, as well. Bookworm 75 says because she always has to take someone out in the name of love. Yeah, any excuse to take someone out, Bookworm said.
Any excuse doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I will say this, Iris, that is why, and you and I have had these conversations off air, which our conversations off air really should be on air. We need our own podcast. Because you and I had a great conversation a year or so ago. And when we were talking, I was telling you how genre is always, at this point in my life, I'm getting old. And it's like, the genres confuse me. So when you told me about the Heart series being a romance, and I was like, I don't see that. That was the hardest thing for me to get. I bring that up because in the Lassiter series, I went into it, the wedding series, of course, thinking about that's going to be the theme. But even in that, as you said, you gave us more because there is the drama. There is that. Yes. Is that also what makes your books relatable, in your opinion, Iris, that these families are aspirational in some respect in the success they have and what they've been able to achieve, but also they're some of them are crazy, just like some of our families as well.
But isn't that how life is?
Yeah.
Well, life is like that, and I think that is the connection for people. I think that the Lassiters, in each one of their stories, it brings some realism. As the things that we deal with life, day in and day out. Love isn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. Love isn't easy because you're merging two people's lives, two people's thoughts, two people's moral compass. You're merging things, and
Right.
that's never easy. So for me, I think that what keeps people connected to the Lassiters, and believe me, my readers love the Lassiters. But what
Mm-hmm.
keeps them connected is because they're dealing with everyday things, and they get to see how they deal with them, and they can relate to them. They can relate to them. Now, some of them, like you said, Cyrus, one or two of them will kill you. They will, because sometimes that's what we want to do
Mm-hmm.
in real life.
Yeah.
However, we can't, but I can do it in the stories.
Mm.
So, but I think what really helps people to relate to the Lasters is they feel like they're just your next door neighbor. They're your cousin, they're your uncle, they're your brother, they're your sisters.
Yeah.
So they can relate to the things that they be going through.
I think my favorite in the series was A Family Affair. I want to get into that, Iris. I want to say, though, for those who are just tuning in, the Lassiter Wedding series is available now on Amazon. You all can get them all there, a nice set. Of course, if you have the individual books, of course, you can be able to take advantage of that as well. Iris has a special announcement, something to show us that's coming to Amazon as well at the end of our broadcast. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Cheryl C. Brooks says this, Iris, I love a good romance wrapped around weddings. The Heart series is still one of my favorites. Romance and politics for the Heart series. So, and that's so true. And let's see, Miss Magnolia Reed says they don't mind throwing hands as much as love. That's a good way to put it. That's
That is a good way to put it.
for sure. So let's talk about that, because what Cheryl says, Iris, I think that's an interesting point she makes.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, and again, I hate even asking this question because I don't like putting people in boxes, but do you see yourself as a romance author that is able to bring in other things, or is that just the way that your writing flows, that there's a mixture of these different elements?
At one time, I probably would have said, yes, I see myself as a romance author.
Okay.
And I just bring different elements into it now. But as you know, in the last year or so, I've branched off into suspense and a little bit of thrillers. And I love writing those just as much. And they have no romance in them, at all. And people are drawn to those characters as well. And what I'm learning, Cyrus, is that I'm an author, so I can take a storyline and I can just write that storyline. For a long time, I just said, okay, I'm just a writer. I just write books. People ask me what I do. I just write books.
Yeah.
But now I've gotten to that point where I've learned that I can write suspense. I can write a little bit of sci-fi. I can write straight romance. I'll kill one or two people, but I can write it.
Yeah.
So I've learned to. I wouldn't say that I'm a romance writer.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I'm a writer. I'm an author. I can write a little bit of everything.
And I agree with that. And even now when I'm talking to recording artists here, Iris, I hate even putting them in boxes with genres, because some of them play with different genres. Antoinette brings up a good point about your books too. She says her character is loving yet will issue much needed constructive criticism to family and friends when needed. I think that's a really good point. And again, that's what we love so much about.
Yeah.
I think the characters, they bring the realness, but also we would hope we get that too. Tiffany, thank you so much for the follow over there on Amazon Live. Tiffany says, going to have to check out her books. Definitely, Tiffany. Oh, so that brings up an interesting question, Iris. For those who are new to you, because I see someone even there on LinkedIn as well saying that they're just discovering you too. Do you normally, I know that's probably hard, with 40 plus books, it probably is difficult, but if someone is saying to you, I'm new to your books, which one would you recommend I start with? What do you normally tell them?
Oh my gosh. I would usually ask, what do you like? Because I have different backdrops. I have the political drama. I have the banking series. I have the entertainment series. I have the sports series. So one of the first things that I would ask them is, what do they enjoy? Because then I can tell them what's the best book for them to go to. Someone has said to me earlier today, Okay, you're gonna have to write a book with a little bit of the word in it. Joshua 2. Joshua
Mm,
2 is based off of different verses from the Bible, you know.
mm,
And so I'm able to write that too. So it all depends on what it is that you like. But
mm,
when they say, "Well, I just like anything," I will always start them with the beginning, because that's once you touch the heart.
mm.
That's what worked for me. So I would start them at the beginning so that they can learn all of the characters. Because usually, if you read Once You Touch the Heart, the Brooks Family Value series, the Gems and Gents series, all of those series blend in together with each other. So
Mm.
you would be able to go from one to the other, and you'll know the characters. So if they just don't have a preference, I would tell them start with the very first book.
Mm. Well, I think that is something good to know. Tiffany asked a good question too. What other authors would you compare yourself to if you could? That's an interesting question.
It is interesting, and I will tell you, some people have compared some of my work to Beverly Jenkins. If you
Mm,
read Beverly Jenkins' contemporaries, some people have compared some of my work to her. Some people have compared my romance side to Brenda Jackson. So if you read Brenda Jackson, it would be some of that in there. And then because I do like to kill people, um, here and there.
hmm.
Um, some I hope I could just tell you who inspired me to write into that thriller area. It would be David Baldacci, or
Mm,
a little bit of James Patterson. You
yeah.
know, when you get into that area of suspense that I write, you can go there. So
Mm.
those that'll give you some idea of the kind of stuff I put out there.
Love that. I'm just glad we have on the record. You all heard her say that she occasionally likes to kill.
I do. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I love them. I
Yeah.
help you find love,
Yeah.
right? But then I give you different ways to kill people too, because I killed one person with a frying pan,
Mm.
a
There
cast
you
iron
go.
frying pan.
There you go. Tamika, hello to you on the Facebook side. She says hello to you as well, Iris. So, Iris, I want to talk about the a family affair because, I think for myself, when it comes to the Lassiter family, I think a family affair gives you a really good idea of, to me, a lot of your work, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, and before I say that, Brooks, Antoinette says Brooks Family Values series is a good cast of characters that show up often as well.
Yes.
But I was just going to say, I think that book, A Family Affair, kind of gives you it all. I mean, you're able to get the romance, you're able to get the love, you're able to get, but you're also able to get the real when it comes to conflict as well.
And
So, for
family.
you, did you go into this series? This may sound like a crazy question, but did you go into it knowing it was going to be a series, Iris, or is it just the way that it played out?
Uh, Now, are you referring to the wedding series or the Lassiter series?
The wedding series.
The wedding series, yes. I knew
Okay.
straight up, I knew it's going to be 4 books. I knew
Okay.
it was going to be 4 different type weddings, because each one of the weddings are very different. And here's the thing, during the time that I was writing the wedding series, I was actually planning, I raised my niece. So I was actually in the midst of my planning my niece's wedding at the
Oh
same
wow.
time. So I
Wow.
had 5 different weddings going on all at the same
Yeah.
time. But yes, I knew it was going to be 4 different weddings. I knew which couple was going to come first, second, third, and last. Um, it was just, to me, it was just the natural way progression of those weddings to go along, because each one of them, in the very first wedding book, each one of the couples tell you exactly what kind of wedding they wanted, when they wanted their weddings to be, and I just went with the flow of that.
Mm.
So yes, I did. I knew there was going to be weddings, but it's funny you mentioned a family affair, because a family affair is the couple that is not larger than life.
Hmm.
They're the couple that are just, one's a school teacher, the other one has a drive buses, you know, and they are, for whatever reason, it seems like the readers really connected to their story. I mean, they connected to all of them, but I've got a lot of feedback on A Family Affair, because you kind of dealt with everyday family things. You know,
Hmm.
it was the grandfather that was in the nursing home. it was that going on. Then it was the father with his crazy self. I wanted to kill him, but I couldn't. I promised that I would not kill anyone in this series because it was supposed to be about weddings.
Right.
But I really did want to knock him off. That's it. I did.
Well, we got another great question here, and I'm gonna let you answer this. I was gonna do it, but I'm gonna let you do it because you would know better. The question is, which is the first thriller book by Miss Iris? I'd rather start with that. So which one on the thriller side or suspense side would you recommend?
Okay, so Joshua is a thriller.
Okay.
However, that's really was a romance for me. It was written as a romance story. It was just a two-parter, but it was a thriller. My very first thriller really was Nate Raines. That was my first one that I actually put in that suspense thriller category was Nate Raines. But before you read Nate Raines, you really should read News with Curves. Because News with Curves is kind of that bridge book where you still had some romance in it, but it was really taking you over into that thriller genre that I do. So if you want to start with my thrillers, I would say go read News with Curves first, then read Nate Raines. Nate Raines is a pure thriller, and then you have Sibs that comes right behind that. So, and those stories are interconnected with each other.
And Tiffany, who asked that question, I'm actually literally, this is the great thing we love about being on Amazon Live. We're able to add the books as Iris is talking about them. So we just added News with Curves to the carousel, so you can actually click on it there in the carousel there where we're talking. And then the Nate Raines, but we have Sibs in there already, Iris, so I know it's already there. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the Aftermath as well. So now, Tiffany, you could actually right there in the carousel, if you scroll over, I'll feature it for you. I just featured News with Curves. It's so cool, Iris. You can literally do this.
I know, I love it.
So I'm gonna go ahead for you, Tiffany, and go ahead and highlight News with Curves for you. So you're gonna see it right now as a featured book. That's the one that Iris was just talking about. And then I'll highlight next to it. You'll see right next to it is the Aftermath. And I highlighted that for you as well. So you can get those there. And Sibs also is there too. Go ahead and highlight it. We have the Justice of Love is in here too, I see.
Yeah, that was
so you guys can just scroll through there and be able to see too. One thing we didn't talk about here, and once again, see, we're about to run out of time. So let me go ahead.
Really?
Yeah. So so let me talk about your audience for a sec. Oh, Cheryl, before I say my part, the audience comes first. Cheryl says on Facebook, hello to you, Cheryl. I suggest to start with the Heart series. They're the suspenseful. Now, see, Cheryl, I'm with you. Suspense was the Heart series.
Those were the romance stories. They was supposed to be romance. And
yeah. I guess because I'm not romantic, Iris, I didn't get that from the Heart series at all. Cheryl, I'm with you. The Heart series is where I would have said, but everyone's different, and but I think that's the cool thing. We have to talk about your fans for a moment, because I have to say, Iris, and I'm not just blowing smoke when I say this. I've hosted the radio show now for 20 years. I've been doing book reviews now for 12 years. Out of the authors that I've known the longest, you have the most book reviews of any other author that I've been able to stay connected with over the past decade. And I want our audience to know, especially those who are joining us on Amazon, that is saying a lot. I was just looking when I was adding the Aftermath, the Nate Raines book, to the carousel, over 400 reviews for a book that hasn't even been out 2 years. People struggle to get 4 reviews on a book. Iris, what has that been like for you? I asked you in the beginning of the conversation about this journey for you, but what has it been like for you to see the people who show up for you the way they do, and then how excited they are to share with others the books that you've been able to write?
Talk about it. That part is a blessing, because, like you said, we do struggle, especially as independent authors. We struggle getting the word out about our books or distribution of our books. We really struggle with that. So when we do have a solid base. Like I'm so blessed, Cyrus, because my readers, they stay with me. And when they get a book, they understand the importance of the reviews and the importance of telling people about it. And so one of the things that when I first started writing, one of the things that I would tell people, here's a free book. All I ask is that you tell people about it. Do a review for it. Just, and tell people whether if you enjoyed the story, tell people about it. If you didn't enjoy it, okay. But if you enjoyed the story, tell people about it. And that stuck with them. So every time I met readers in person, that was the thing that I would ask them to do, just tell somebody else about it, because we go by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it has stuck. It has stuck. And I am really, really blessed. We just put out the Christmas affair went up, and within that first week, we had hit 200 reviews within that first week. Wow. And that was just a blessing. It really is. But word of mouth is the way that we get our stories out.
And at the time we're having this conversation, over 320 right now, Iris, for that one. Yes. It's another beautiful cover as well on that one. But again, you guys can get the entire set, or you can get the individual books. If you've already started reading, you can be able to get those now. But Iris, I was teasing a couple of times. You showed me something that literally came in today, I think. That's coming for our audience on Amazon. Why don't you share it with our audience?
Okay, so this came in today, guys. For those who's been asking for it, this is can you guys see that?
Yeah.
This is the collection. This is the wedding series collection, and all 4 stories. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
All 4 stories are in this collection, and it is going to be available in paperback, guys. You listen. Let me tell you, you have close to 700 pages of story in this one book, and it is going to be available on all of the outlets. It's going to be available on all of the outlets as soon as I go through it, because it just came today.
Yeah.
So I have to go through it and check the pages and make sure everything is like it's supposed to be. Yeah. But this is going to be coming, and there's a bonus story in here, guys. There's a bonus story in here. I actually added Sally's and her sister's story in this book as well. So you're getting 5 stories in one.
There you go. Love that. Love that. And I have the Kindle editions, Iris, because I try to keep up with you. So I have them on my Kindle. But you know me, I'm a big print fan.
I would definitely be getting one. I'm gonna send you one of these.
All right. Well, so again, you all have that to look forward to. But in the meantime, make sure you guys get the books in the Lassiter Wedding Series now here on Amazon. Again, coming though, as you saw, I will show you guys, you have the paperback that is coming. Oh, I do have another question I want to make sure I get in here, Iris. I really appreciate this time with you. Magnolia, Miss Magnolia Reed says, did she know that Matt and Leah's wedding story will be the most romantic of the 4? The most romantic. Interesting.
That's a family affair. That's the one that you referred to.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So, okay. So, So, would you consider it the most romantic also?
Okay. An international affair is the craziest one, because that one starts it off with the craziness. Mm-hmm. A risky affair, LT and Fire, that's about those families that's just catching a hard time getting together. Mm-hmm. A family affair is just Matt and Leah. It's just the 2 of them, and you feel the love not only they have for each other, but the love that they have for family as well, and you can feel it through almost every page of that book. Got it. So I think that's why people think that's the most romantic.
Well, it definitely starts off in a big way. I can tell you that. I was like, whoa, Iris, you.
They love each other. They love each other. Cyrus.
They something. I mean, literally right for the first page. I normally need some coffee, some something to lead into.
Listen, I can't tell you how long my son has been telling me. People, they said, what are your mom doing? He said, well, my mom writes porn. I said, really? You really are telling people that?
was like, whoa, okay, she really started this off. Oh, look, Iris, this is always, see, our time, this is the thing. But Iris and I have been friends for such a long
Oh
time.
my
And
gosh.
I'm so glad that I can call her a friend and then be able to have conversations like this that you guys just get to be a part of. Iris and I are just catching up.
We're
And
gonna,
we just letting y'all in on it. That's
one,
what's really
one
happening
day
here.
one day we're gonna have it where we can really just talk, you know,
Yeah.
and just hit all of the different points that we always talk about
Yeah.
behind the scenes. So
Iris has agreed, just to let you guys know, in March, we're going to do an hour show with Iris just about during Women's History Month, which is appropriate with Iris, just talking about the woman who is Iris Bolling and her extraordinary career. So a Bookworm 75 says, Cyrus, that was my reaction too. I'm like, wait, Paige, what are they already in it? That's what I was like. I was like,
listen, one of the things that David Baldacci had said is, I think it was David Baldacci that said, catch him on that first page.
yeah.
You catch him on that first page and you have him through the rest of the book. I caught you guys on that first page.
You did something, Iris. That's all I'm going to say about that. This is a family-friendly show, ready?
Yes.
But make sure you guys get the Last of Their Wedding series right now on Amazon. You can also get the other great books from Iris. This isn't all of them. I want you guys to know. But you can go through the carousel here on the Amazon Live side. Make sure you guys add some others to your reading list. Just click on them. You can add them to your cart. Make sure you guys do check out Iris. Always a pleasure talking with you. How can they stay connected with you and all the great things coming up?
You can always go to my website. Anything that I'm doing is probably going to be on my website, and that's irisbolling.com. So you can always go there to find me. I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm new. I'm not new to LinkedIn, but I'm just beginning to use it again. Gotcha. So you can find me there on all of the social media sites. You can find me. Just look for my name and reach out. I'll respond back to you. That's for sure.
Well, Iris, this has been a whole lot of fun. And I think the thing is, for myself, is as we kind of going through conversations like this, the thing that I love about you is that you keep it real. And I love the fact, too, the engagement you have with your fans. And it's something I know that they appreciate as well. So always a pleasure being able to talk with you. Looking forward to our next conversation together, which will be really soon. So definitely looking forward to having you back again.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and continued success to you, Cyrus. Continue from the heart.
Thank you.
Because you joined it there. I'm gonna grow up to be like you one day.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you for tuning in on Amazon Live, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. The replay of this conversation will be available on whatever platform you're joining us on. So if you happen to have missed it, don't worry. If you guys are not joining us on the Amazon Live side, though, and you want to be able to see the books that we were talking about and highlighting, there is a link that takes you over to Amazon Live there, so you can be able to see all the books and be able to get them for yourself. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you all so much for being with us here for Cyrus Represents. You all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon.